the first step. Tonight was the first step to greatness, all right? We got to keep grinding. Come back next week. Let's go over there, Coach.
Welcome to the Whitetail Properties Sean Thompson Rocket Football Coaches Show. Coach Thompson, indeed, we have been here 4 straight years, and you've been talking about it for 3 or 4 straight years now to take the next step. The next step. And here we are at the threshold, and how do we take that next step now?
Number one was getting here. It's a lot, especially in a year like it's been with COVID and all the things that go along with that. To even be at this point, is a blessing. So step one was getting back to this point, and now it's just continuing to do what you've done and appreciating all the moments that you've had this year and understanding that it was for a reason and a purpose, and it's all come to this one moment, and then just making sure that you live in the moment and do everything that you've been coached to do, everything that you've been destined to do. Make those plays. Just do your job. You don't have to do anything more than that. And our kids have done that all year, and I think they'll continue to do that.
Mm-hmm. And like you say, you certainly want to raise your level of play, sure. Particularly when you get in this situation in the playoffs. But you don't want to try to do too much, because you can get off track.
Yeah, you don't want to get too high. You don't want to be too low. You want to just go in, even kill, just ready to go. It's a. Coach Wheeler used to say it all the time when he coaches. This is a business trip. We decided on that field a year ago. That feeling, we didn't want to feel that anymore. And it's funny. It comes back to this moment where we're in that same place. With the opportunity to take the next step, and I think the kids are ready. We've had a great week of practice. They're excited about the opportunity to go see that single wing again, and see a really good team in KCD. So I'm excited. Friday can't get here soon enough because with COVID, out there, just any minute you can get that phone call. So it's tough, making it to Friday, but it's getting close. So
well, it is indeed a business trip, and absolutely this year is not business as usual. Nothing has been business as usual. But speaking of business, we'd like to draw attention to some of our sponsors and partners that have participated all year long and really for multiple years in our production of all of these broadcasts to bring you the Coaches Show, the podcast, and the live stream during most of the football season this year. So we want to recognize Shara Solutions on the New York Stock Exchange, Deer Lakes Golf Course, home of the Rockets golf team, Homestead Realty when you're buying or selling, and Farmers Bank, your trusted hometown bank since 1899. And of course, Whitetail Properties, our primary sponsor for this program. Coach Thompson, we are going to back to KCD. Mm-hmm. The first question I've gotten from everybody is the sideline drive. We talked about that on the podcast the other day. I'll let you mention that. But we also want to recognize the fact that KCD is a good football team. We've played. This will be the fourth time we've played them in the playoffs. We have beaten them twice. They beat us the last time. Matt Jones has been the coach every time, I believe. I believe he came in 2012. He wasn't there before. But he's been there 9 years now and has only had one losing season and really turned this team into a ground run-oriented and this hybrid type offense, a little old school, little wing T type stuff mixed in with it. Yeah. They hit us big last year on it, the first play of the game, and I've got some footage, and we'll roll some of that. So what is anything different? I know the Herd boys gone that really hurt us last year, rushed for over 200 yards.
Yeah, they have some different guys in those primary spots as far as who's going to carry the ball a lot. But, as far as what they do, no, not really. They're really a multi-set. To sit here and say that they're a single-wing team, it's just not true. That's what they hang their hat on, but they do so much. There's so many different things they do. It makes it difficult for a defensive coordinator to prepare for them, and they're well coached. There's so many things that they do, and they do it, with great technique and they just make the plays. So. It goes to the coaches holding the kids accountable, and the kids really taking and believing in their system and what they do. So for us, what's different, number one, is we have Tyler Boone this year in the middle, where we didn't have him last year.
He was injured and didn't play.
Heart of our defense, and really gets guys where they're supposed to be and plays sideline to sideline for us. That'll be a big difference. And for the most part, our defense is healthier than we were at that point last year. We were kind of banged up, just kind of limping into that. And we're a little more healthy at this point. But we've had a lot of time off as well. So I think that we have a great game plan for what they do. I think that it will be a very physical football game on both sides of the ball, and the team that makes the least amount of mistakes will come out on top.
Yes, I think to characterize them as strictly a running football team would be incorrect, because they have number 5, the Todd boy, who's as athletic as anybody that'll be on the field, and they'll try to hit him long, and then they'll run some guys out of the backfield and throw to them some slants and stuff. But he's arguably their best player. Yeah.
He's a guy he's a big play home run threat for him, and then he's also a guy on defense that flies around, makes a lot of plays. So he's a guy that they want to use a lot of different ways. A guy that we got to make sure that we're aware of. So,
and the quarterback, this is his second year to start, maybe his third.
Yeah, and he's
a good
great decision maker. And it's funny to think in what they do. Your quarterback is one of your primary lead blockers. In what you do. So he's a tough kid, and he makes good decisions with the ball. We were able to put a lot of pressure on him last year in some passing situations, and he always made good decisions with the ball. So if our defense can find ways to turn them over, that will change things.
Well, we want to take a moment to recognize some of our partners who are also very tough. Todd Riley over at Riley Tool and Machine, they grind away all week for Friday night football. Sea Plant Federal Credit Union, now on Main Street in Marion. Johnson's Furniture and Appliance, your top choice for sales and service. Ellington Detailing, where we keep our rockets looking sharp. And Par 4 Plastics, our team is rocket proud. Coach Thompson, let's talk a little bit about the defense of KCD. What do you expect out of them? Obviously you're not going to give us your scheme and plan for them, but where do you feel like maybe you can have some success against their defense?
It's funny because defensively they kind of do what we do.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're really good, and they're really strong in the same areas that we're strong. It's honestly like looking at the defense we've saw since day one of preparing for this year. They have really good linebackers. Number 28, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, and then number 5, they're going to be all over the field. And then there are 2 defensive ends, 58 and 57. They're big, strong, physical guys, and they do a really good job setting the edge right there. And a lot of what they do is very similar to what we do. It'll look a little bit different, but as far as their responsibilities and where they're getting to, they're doing the same stuff. So it should be, a tough matchup for us. But, we've gotten pretty good offensively as the year has gone, gotten better about being able to take advantage of what the defense gives us instead of becoming one-dimensional or allowing the defense to dictate what we do offensively. And that's a huge change from last year. We go into that game, especially with the field conditions the way they were, really one-dimensional, and I don't feel like we are that way. Every time we step on the field, teams are going to say, make number 6 beat us, and take the run away, because that's where our strengths lie. But he's done a really good job at growing throughout the year and making sure that he makes the right play. So I think that if we can protect the football and keep the chains moving, not get behind the sticks, we have an opportunity to be successful against them.
All right, we'll take a quick moment here and thank some more of our partners. YTG Insurance, call for a quote today. And don't forget, Tanner Tabor, YT Insurance, will be at the game. He'll have a sideline show, pregame, halftime, and hopefully we'll try to grab some of the guys to do something afterwards too. So, also Mike and Stoner's Barbershop, where a haircut is always an experience. H&H Home and Hardware, your one-stop shop for everything. Marion Eye Care Center, Dr. Adria Porter, optometrist. Magnolia Bank, Derek Myers, mortgage specialist and also a boom specialist. He shoots the rocket at our home games, and we'd like to have another home game. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And Fraser Massey, law offices in Marion, Kentucky. Coach Thompson, you talked about in the beginning how we got here. That was the first thing you spoke of when we started the show today. How we got here, there were some ups and some downs, some games we didn't play, some games we wanted to play, some long travel games we expected, and did just everything. We put it in a can, shake it up, and throw it out, and that's the way it was. But probably the elephant in the room at this point is that RPI, and that's got us where we are today. That's why we're playing KCD. Last week we were probably within inches from having a home game because of the outcome of that game at Holy Cross. So there are the top four teams left standing in these playoffs is Louisville, Holy Cross, Kentucky Country Day, Paintsville, and Crittenden County, if you go by the RPI. The AP poll is virtually the same, save Pikeville, who surprisingly lost last week to Hazard. But, after Pikeville was number one, so the number one team is gone. But in the Class A AP poll, it was Kentucky Country Day at 2, Louisville Holy Cross at 3, Crittenden 4, and Paintsville 5. So the AP was pretty close, other than there's always upsets in football.
Yeah, for sure.
So how we got here and where we could go from here is a big question. Obviously you don't want to look too far ahead, but if we win this game, there is a good chance we could be home next week again.
Yeah, the possibilities are there, and for that to happen, it would mean that two teams in front of us would have to.
Another number one team would have to go down. The RPI leader, Holy Cross, would have to go down.
Yeah, for sure. But for us to have that opportunity, we got to win this one.
Sure.
And that's number one. That's the most important. So we have to, make sure we go out and take care of business this week, and next week, you plan that after you do your job. So that's what we're all about, handling things in Louisville right now.
The last teams standing in this Class A football, as mentioned, Holy Cross, Country Day, Paintsville, Crittenden County, and then the other four are Newport Central Catholic, Williamsburg, Nicholas County, and Hazard. Now, this week you will see Newport Catholic at Holy Cross. Crittenden, of course, will be at Country Day. Hazard will be at Paintsville. Hazard, if they could knock off Paintsville this week, that would really throw things into a mix. And Nicholas County will be at Williamsburg. And that Williamsburg team, they may be a little bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, when you get this far into the playoffs, everyone there is a good football team. Outside of some COVID cancellations and stuff that's allowed teams to continue to play that you may not know much about. But typically this time of year, they get that third round, that fourth round of the playoffs, they're supposed to be there. So there's a lot of good football teams left, and I wish them all luck this week. It just us a little more luck than KCD. But it's going to be a good football game. There's going to be good football games across the state, so it should be fun.
Well, it is interesting to me, and you've heard me say this a million times. I think the AP poll is as close to being accurate as any of those polls that are out there. And we were ranked 4 in the last AP poll. We're 4 in the RPI, and we're looking to get to the Final Four after this football game. I want to thank a few more of our partners. Mulligan's Pizzeria and Pub, where friends gather for the games, and you'll be able to watch the game out there. No, they're closed now, so you won't be able to go there because of the COVID. But you can watch from home, and we'll tell you a little bit how you can do that. Max 2 Custom Tent and Detail. They have moved out to Orb Taylor Road. First United Bank. Are you ready to switch banks? And Al Starnes, former Rocket head coach and Coldwell Banker real estate agent. He's always a Rocket. Coach Thompson, let's get to the part that probably the most difficult for me to talk about. is this injury report, and we've got some bad news with I call him Little Preston Morganson, because we have two Prestons, Big Preston and Little Preston. But Preston Morganson, who's one of our most dynamic offensive players, scored 3 touchdowns in the first half last week. He has really struggled with that shoulder injury the last month. He hurt it against Henderson, and now it looks like it's going to knock him out, and we're going to miss him this week.
Yeah, it's just bothering him. It's still bothering him. He's tough. You know, he doesn't let you in as much pain that he might be in. But he's struggling with it right now, so he's just not going to be available this week, and it could possibly be extended. You know, it's day to day with that shoulder. It's all about what he can tolerate and how his body heals. So, you know, we're hoping for a speedy recovery, but. We got to take care of him first. So, you know, it will be okay. You'll see some guys fill that spot. You'll see Maddox Carlson play a little bit. You'll see Logan Bailey come over to the offensive side some, and Trace Darrington, as well as you'll see Tyler Boone go out there when we're in single back type stuff. And you know the type of mismatch that he is, especially when he gets the ball in space, he's dangerous. So. You know, we have options. We have guys. We have that depth that we haven't had in years past, and you know, I hate it for Preston. You know, not being able to play in the regional championship. That moment that we wanted to get back to. You know, but the show's got to go on, and it's got to be a next man up mentality.
Such a competitor he is.
Yeah.
We also have Dylan Yates, who did not play last week, and Noah McGowan, who did not play last week. Update us on their status.
They're back. They'll both be available and ready to go. Dylan Yates, if I had to guess, I'd say he's 110% based off what he looks like, and same with Noah. So we're back.
Be glad to get those guys back, certainly. Yeah. All right, and that's all, from what I understand, really, other than maybe some nicks and bruises here and there from playing almost a full season.
Yeah.
I want to remind everybody we do have our COVID screen. We are in protected mode here. We want to continue to remind our fans to stay in that protected mode.
Yeah.
If you are lucky enough to be able to go to this football game, there aren't many tickets available. Mostly parents. Wear your mask the whole time. You know, take precautions outdoors, remain 6 feet apart, and all that other stuff that goes with keeping these kids on the football field. Want to remind those who will be at home how to watch this game, how to watch and how to listen. This game will be broadcast on the National Federation of High School Sports Network, which we also have now. Last week we unveiled it for the first time here at Rocket Stadium, and you'll be able to watch that. It will not be our commentators. We will have something from the game live right before the game, a pregame. The 20 minutes before kickoff, we'll come on live and have some insight from right there on the field, and then we'll try to do something at halftime, and then our normal wrap-up coverage after the game. Also, you'll be able to listen to it on WMJL radio here, 102.7 in the Crittenden County area, listening area. But also, even if you're away, they tell me, I talked to Taylor this week, and he says they're going to stream that live on their Facebook page. So that's at River Country 102.3. You'll be able to at least listen, but you can watch it on the National Federation of High Schools Network if you have a subscription. For the price of one ticket, you can get a subscription to watch this game. You know, tickets are $10 to get in. Cost you, basically the same thing to watch it on television if you can cast it to your TV from the comfort of your home. The weather this week, Coach Thompson, what's it looking like in Louisville?
There's a chance of rain.
Who does that play to?
Well, anytime it rains, you know, it's not good for anybody just because of the effect it has on the field and the ball. It's just about who is more mentally tough.
It was wet there last year.
It was
very wet.
Very
sloppy.
wet. That's probably the sloppiest game I've ever been a part of. But it was mainly our sideline. It was not the field held up pretty decent. But
this time of year, fields are soft.
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
the
Our
nature
field's still soft.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But hopefully it's not too much. There is a chance of rain, but it's just more adversity. to this year, and every time adversity has been thrown in the face of these kids, they found a way. So I like our chances.
I'd like to remind you to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube channel. That way you will be notified whenever anything we do, any broadcast is made available for Rocket football or news here in Crittenden County as well. Coach Thompson, here we are again at the threshold. Here's our chance to get to the Final Four. Ironically, we went through KCD the last time we went to the Final Four in 2008 with one of your contemporaries there, Coach Courtney's team. So here we are. We're at the threshold. And if you can't be at the game, and we know many of you won't, I know you feel the support and the thoughts and the prayers and the blessings, everything that people send our way from Rocket Nation. It's very important. Stay tuned to the radio, turn it on the webcast it, watch this game. Coach Thompson, do you have some kind of a catchphrase? What's your motto going into this game? Other than, take this step.
Just live in the moment.
Live in the moment.
This is what we wanted for a year now, over a year, thanks to COVID. So we wanted to be back here, and I'm happy this is the situation. I'm happy it's with KCD at their place, just because the symbolism of where we were at when we made the decision that we were fed up. Yeah. So. Let's live in the moment, soak it all in, and go finish.
Well, the moment starts at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That's our time, Central Time, 6:30 p.m. We'll see you on the Federation Network if you can't be there in person.